The anger faded from my sapphire eyes. "Whatever," I said sweatily. Sweatily. "I didn't mean to yell and beride. Thou art too beautiful for that. Thou art too beautiful for that," he said, and for once I didn't feel like cock-dropping the guy for paying me a compliment. Instead, I just smiled. "I'm Udard Cullen," he murmured. Udard Cullen. Udard Cullen. "Who are thee?" "Altan Tiana Lauren, but you can call me Tiana, or maybe Tia," I said, feeling shy at the way he was looking at me. I had seen that look in so many male eyes, but never quite as intense or sexy. His eyes burned like hot gold velvet in the midday sun, like phoenix feathers and rainbows, so gold and magical. So gold and magical and... "Thou reminds me of bygone times," he said, carefully retching out a shaking hand and brushing my cheek. "Thy face is like an old painting. Thou is exceptional. You're not so shanky yourself. But I couldn't help noticing you have a frickin' GF, you ass. I saw you with her in the cafeteria." I notched his hard hand away with my long black nails. "Thou thee did notice me then?" He purred with a sly grin. I was up against the wall with his face right close to me now. He wanted to sex me, I could tell. And suddenly he was kissing me. I felt like my slim legs would break in half and my heart expanded like a big balloon. I felt his hand sliding softly down my neck and underneath my top. He stroked my breasts for a few minutes, and his man carrot standing in action and hard as a rock against my legs. And then he ripped my top and pulled it of me and doped it on the floor. We made out for 10 minutes, and then he tried to take off my bra. But I suddenly pushed him away, thinking, WTF, Tia, are you just gonna let this total stranger take your cloths off in school, where anyone could see you? I'd never let a guy kiss me before or touch me, and suddenly I was letting this cheating sicko with a frickin' GF grope me just because he was uber hot, with sexoy hair and cold as death. I was acting like a biatch and a slut, and I was suddenly very ashamed of my actions. "Bastard! Never touch me again," I gasped. "If thou thinks thou can keep thou hands of me," he answered all smug, and I couldn't believe how he made me feel so angry and so aroused at the same time. Aroused. At that moment, I'd never hated anyone in my whole life. And the worst part of it was he was so freaking hot! I was totally creaming my panties, and he knew it. It was horrible. I felt disguised with myself, and turned to leave. "Wait, I need to speak to thee. I know your secrets, Tia," he said in a quiet voice that I just fucked the fuck up, gassing into my eyes. Gassing into... Careful, you'll get red-eye. Watch out for that methane. "You're one of my kind. Who made thee? Are you part of a coven, or on thou own?" "What is?" said sharply. "Dude, you're insane." "What?" "And you freaking smell." He really didn't smell, but I didn't know what else to say. "Thy a campire, Tia. A vampire. But why can't I read thou mind? I thought Bella was the only one, but here thou are. What does this all mean?" He punched the wall with his buckly fist and shouted, suddenly furious, and his eyes flickered red. I schlepped him hard across the face. Schlepped him hard across the face and tried to leave, but he caught my waist, and as I struggled and tried to hit him again, he caught my hand in midair and hammed me against the wall, where his hand had already made a huge dint in the wall. His face was blunt and right heavy in mine. My knee came up hard against his massive, throbbing giggle stick between his legs, and he drubbed over in pan. I broke free and goaded my books and started rugging away to math, but Edward had hand-finished with me. "Tia, no!" he screamed after me, tearing his shrit off of himself in fury and throwing it over my eyes. I lost my sight and was behind me, breathing into my ears. "I'm sorry, Tia," he whimpered sadly. He picking me up off the floor and gazing mutely into my eyes. "I didn't mean to rut thee. I'm so contemptuous. I apologize! This is just so weird! You're so frickin' weird, you mean?" I snapped whitely as he lay on the floor so hot and crying with his shirt off with his pippling body. Pippling body? I wanted to forgive him for calling me a vampire. Vampire! I'd heard that one before from preppy losers asking if I slept in a coffin and sucked blood like Lestat. Lestat, just 'cause I like eyeliner and listen to Linkin Park. And making fun of me and trying to force me against the wall and maybe plunder my crevices, but I didn't. I left him crying on the floor and went to find my class. As I entered math class, I suddenly dropped my box again as a flashing pain burned my left hand as my birthmark glinted gold for a second. No joke! Then I fell over. The pain was suddenly gone, and some weirdo blonde freak called Eric was helping me up and staring at me like a pervo rapist. I kicked him in the shoulder. Kung Fu, baby! In dreams, I sat down at the back of class, unable to think about anything but my weird encounter with Edward Cullen, wondering what it could all mean. It means you need to go to the police, 'cause he's fucking raping you.
I'd pretend to be a vampire, like in stories round the campfire. I'd suck your bloody froth. Yes, the thing I'd be best at is impersonating Lestat if I only were a goth.